Hello guys, my name is Jordan Johnson. I'm an Apex Racing Academy driver, also a driver in the Racing Prodigy P3 Championship, sometimes streaming on Twitch as Plasma Raider, and I'm just coming in with the Mx-5 Cup Series Rookie Series that is being used in the Racing Prodigy Golden Ticket Series. We are coming in with a Hotlap that at the time of recording is the season record, also a recent world record of the Mx-5 around Oschersleben here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that as we roll around. For quite a challenging lap here at Oschersleben. A lot of little mistakes that we can make throughout the lap. Without further ado, let's bring the car in. You can see we settled for a 1 minute 38.145, so quite a strong lap given the conditions that we are running in. We're going to roll through here, get the general idea of what we're doing throughout the lap, and just get things rolling. So rolling through, we're going to make sure that we drift the car to the right just a little bit over this grass just to open up the corner for us. We roll into our braking, end up braking just a little bit after that service road on the right hand side, only a squeeze though, just trying to make sure that we're adding a little bit of rotation into the car. Don't want to take much of those sausage curbs, and then as soon as we get the car straightened up here, that's where we're hard on the brake, pulling the car back to the right hand side, trying to get the car slipping to the right, and then recommitting the front wheels to continue that rotation. And as soon as we know we're getting that rotation, that's when we're going to pick up that throttle, drive through the corner. A lot of driving by feeling through these first two turns, but once you're comfortable with them, they are pretty consistent. You want to make sure that you get those. Coming to turn 3, we're going to be braking right underneath this underpass here, or about halfway down this curb, whatever works best for you. Relatively hard on brakes, same as we would be getting in that transition in between 1 and 2. Then we're going to be arcing the car quite late. You can see a little bit of counter steer coming in as the rear end's coming around the car. From there, we want to make sure that you're keeping that rotation. Don't completely stop it. Let the camber stop the car from sliding. Commit into this corner with a late apex. We get nice and close relatively early, but then really late apex on where we actually tighten up that corner. Then going on the straightaway here, just to open up that steering wheel, maximize your straight line speed. We're going to be turning in here about between the 2 and the 3, closer to this 3-bollard, and it's going to be in early. Don't worry about this first apex. Car can push wide. That's not our concern. About 2/3 of the way across the track, then start bringing the car back into this left-hand side. Little bit of brake to pull it in. Missed that apex just a touch, but that's not the important part. We're really worried about this third apex here. This is where all the money is made. So you want to be getting the car a little bit of brake here after that second apex, pull it back in. We're only going to be getting the car about 2/3 of the way across the track, then pointing at this apex. A lot of curb, maybe a little bit too much there. That's probably a qualifying trim that you're going to run for that, or how much we use that curb. And then you're going to get the car immediately into this right-hand corner. It's probably braking really as soon as you get the car landed, getting the car tipped into this right hand side. Then same as what we did in turn 3, get the car in, but you don't want to get it all the ways in right away. Late apex, we're arcing the car in. We leave about a car's width of space on that inside. Apex right at the end of this curb. That's what we're looking for right there. Let the car drive on out, coming through the chicane. One of the most fun chicanes that you can run. We're going to use a lot of the curb on the inside here, basically jumping this curb on the inside. Then a little bit of a lift just to get the car stabilized and into this left-hand side. We want to open up this final right-hand corner as much as possible. Get the car over to the right as much as possible. As soon as you're getting off of the curbing, you need to be committing into this right-hand side. And then tucking the car in. Don't touch this sausage curb on the inside, but we're apexing right at the end of it. Right where it disappears, that's the tightest point of the corner. Full commit on your throttle. Open that corner out. Drive it the rest of the way out of the corner. Coming into the second chicane here. Not really any good references. I am braking about when this pillar on the right hand side of my screen here disappears off screen. That's my general reference. There's not really a lot to reference off on either side of the track. So I would find some kind of reference either using this bridge in front of you or something that's far off the side of the track that you can get to line up. There's not even grass markers, which sometimes I use, but there's no markers on the side of the track here. So we're braking again right at the pillar there. Quite gentle braking, really just trying to get the rear end to come around on us. You can see us forced to counter steer, which is exactly what we're looking for. You can use this inside curb here quite generously. I wouldn't roll over it, but definitely roll onto it. Getting the car to the right-hand side of the halfway point of the track, open up this final corner, a lift to pull the weight back around, and all of this inside curb and full commit to the throttle. Really let the car drive through with a lot of pace here. It's got a ton of grip. That final corner there, it's a little bit too fast for what the speeds we're doing, so you can really position the car wherever you want there. Don't let the car drive out to the gravel here, though. That's going to end up causing you an off track, one of the few off tracks on this track that you have to worry about. Then coming through here, you see this bollard up here, or this little overhang. That's going to be our reference point for our braking coming into the second to last corner here. Just a light brake, pulling the nose in, barely any brake, really just trying to rotate the car. You can use a lot of this curb here, then let the car drive all the ways out. Can use the gravel on exit as well, and then set up for the final corner, which is going to be the most important part, finishing our qualifying lap here, of course. So we're going to be braking about 3/4 of the way through this pit entry. Keep those right-hand tires to the right-hand side of this white line. Super important so you don't pick up that off track. Getting the car to the inside of the track here quite early. Can roll up on that sausage curb a little bit and open up the corner all the ways out to the gravel. Can also touch this gravel just a little bit. I don't recommend going out and trying to force yourself to touch that gravel, though, as it is capable of slowing you down quite a bit. And there is an off track if you take too much of it. Just being mindful of that. Let's roll around for one more lap here as we're going to see this from the off-board view. And again, coming into turn 1, we're going to be looking at extending that track. You can see both tires in that right-hand side opening up onto this service road. Getting the car slowed down quite aggressively. As soon as we get that car straight, you can see we're already inputting that brake all the ways up to pretty much our peak pressure until we hit ABS. Then we're rotating the car into the right-hand side. You can see quite a bit of slip here early on in our little rotation moment. Then that's going to stabilize out as we get on throttle, rolling the car through here with that momentum. Then coming into turn 3, again, going to be braking about halfway down this curb or underneath that overhang right there. Getting the car in relatively early, but like I said before, we're arcing the car back into the corner. That means we're not hitting this apex early. We're just getting close, and then we're slowly tightening up the corner until about that 2/3 point. This is about where our apex is, and we are full throttle to drive the car out the rest of the way. Into our triple left, this is going to be one of the tricky sequences we talked about. In between that 2 and 3 bollard, inside apex does not really matter. It's really about your positioning for the rest of the corner. So about 2/3 of the way to the right of the track to open this sequence up, getting all the ways in with a little bit of trail brake. We actually missed this apex curbing a little bit. This is not intentional, but it's not the end of the world. We just want to make sure that we're set up for that final corner. Then again, about 2/3 of the way across the track, not tracking all the ways out. That's going to allow us with a little bit of brake to pull it in and then use a lot of this curb. This was, again, maybe a little bit too much curb. You can see the car is really lurching onto those right-hand side tires and unsettling itself quite a bit. But with our braking immediately after, we are able to settle it, get a lot of slip on entry down into second gear there, and that's going to let us arc that car back into the corner, same as we did with turn 3, apexing in this white block here. The later the better. That's going to give you the exit to full throttle all the ways out here, touching a little bit of grass. Coming into this little quick sequence of right, left, right, and using all the curbing here, full throttle over that curb. Then it's going to be just a lift to pull the car back to the left-hand side, just that lift to get it over here. Get in the car over. As soon as you're finishing that curbing here, this is where we want to be transitioning over to the right-hand side. You can see the car, we throw it into the right, tons of slip angle in the car here, and then rolling up on this curb. Don't want to use that sausage curb. This is pretty much as you can get away with, and that's only us touching the very bottom edge of that corner. So quite a tricky sequence, very fast, but making sure that you're on the right line is super important through that section. And coming up into these final 4 corners, again, we talked about our braking point being quite hard to spot. Aren't using a lot of brake pressure. We're just trying to get the rear end of the car to come around on us, which is exactly what happens here. We can use that sausage curb a little bit, just trying to hook the car back to the right-hand side of the track. Again, right of center, need to be around there to get the car hooked into this left-hand side. And then just a quick lift. You're going to see a lift turned in. As soon as that car is rotating, we're immediately full throttle and throwing the car through the rest of this corner and driving it out on the exit. Coming to the final corner here, we spot that brake marker. We talk about that overhang. There's also this dark dirt patch that's normally a little bit harder to see in cockpit. Very light trail brake pressure just to pull the nose in. Can use all of this apex curbing. And then we're going to let that car track all the ways out to that gravel. Can actually use a little bit of it, but we don't want to rely on it. And then again, picking up this brake marker here about 2/3 of the way through the pit entry. And that's going to be right-hand side on the right side of this white line. Again, otherwise you pick up that off track, get the car all the ways in relatively early, can use that sausage curb on the inside, can use all the ways up to this peak, as you can see it's a bit of a triangle. I wouldn't recommend any more than that. I like to even sit on the lower side of it. Then again, let that car track all the ways out, can touch that gravel. Not a big deal. Just make sure you're not rolling through it. Otherwise, you're going to lose some speed, and that's going to cost you lap time. But that's going to be a 138.145. That's going to be, again, currently the season record so far with the MX-5 Cups. So best of luck in your practice. Best of luck in the Prodigy P3 Championship, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do this week.